What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Last week I did not get to put out a Siesta Key recap. I did try to record it, but the kids are out of school for summer and I was unable to finish recording the video, so I wasn't able to. This video today I will do a short recap from last week's episode, and then I'll get into this week's episode and do that recap. So last week was called You Don't Seem Like the Caring Type. It starts off with Kara making it to the island. No one is happy that she is there except Madison. Most people are kind of upset that she's there. So Kara gets to the island. She walks up to Juliet and Amanda at first. Amanda excuses herself because she is like, I don't even care to talk to Kara. So Amanda is really upset with Kara because the last time everyone hung out with Kara in a group, Kara called them trashy. She said they were stupid. And then after that, when Amanda broke up with JJ, Kara wasted no time sliding right on in and scooping JJ up. And she posted pictures of them online. It really upset Amanda. So Amanda's not happy. Kara makes her rounds that night, talking to everybody to see how they feel about her being there. She goes over to the table where Kelsey and Max and Jay and Kenna and Garrett has been sitting. And right before she walks over there, though, they're talking about Kara. Jay asked Kelsey if she'll ever be able to forgive Kara and maybe have a friendship with her. And Kelsey says that if it wasn't for Madison, she would never talk to Kara. But because Madison is friends with Kara, she may end up at least hearing Kara out. But it's only for Madison's sake. Kara interrupts them. She actually goes around to everyone and gives them a hug, which was really awkward because Kenna doesn't know Kara at all. The last time Garrett saw Kara, they were fighting. The last time Kelsey saw Kara, Kara was calling her an idiot. So it was really awkward for her to go around all these people that she knew doesn't like her or don't know her, giving them hugs. Garrett did not hug her back. And when he didn't hug her back, she goes, okay, not even a touch, okay, honey, in a very condescending tone. Mind you, she is supposed to be there on this island to make amends with everyone. But the first time someone doesn't play into her little act or whatever, she's acting this way. So she sits down and she asks, how does everyone feel about me being here? Max comes right out and tells her that he hasn't heard anyone say that they are happy that she's there. So she's like, oh, wow, okay, all right, so that's how everyone feels. She starts talking to Kelsey and she tells Kelsey that she would like for them to go out to lunch so she could kind of explain herself and maybe they could make amends or whatever. And Kelsey's just like, I don't get why you're here, the way you spoke to us and now you're just showing up and you're just expecting us to be okay with you. And then Garrett chimes in and he's like, I don't care to hear anything you got to say, Kara. Kara is shocked to hear Garrett being so outspoken with her, and she's like, wow, really? Okay. And then Kenna chimes in and says, I don't think I'll ever like you. Kara responded, you don't know me. And Kenna says, I don't know you, but I know the way you treated him, and anyone that can treat him that way, I just don't like. And Kara's basically like, mine and his relationship is nothing, it meant nothing to me. Kenna says, you hurt him. Because of you, he had a lot of anxiety, it affected him. And Kara says, well, it didn't affect me. So Kenna says, well, if it didn't affect you, and I'm telling you that it did affect him, you could at least apologize. Just give him an apology. And Kara looks at Kenna and says, I don't know what you want me to apologize for. And Kenna says, you can apologize for being a condescending bitch. And everyone was like, even I was like, little Miss Kenna, little Miss oh so sweet Kenna is calling Kara a condescending bitch. I was so shocked. Kara then started going in that little baby tone that she goes, oh, okay, honey, honey, honey. And Kenna was like, I don't get it. What is this face you're doing? This honey, honey, honey. You're so condescending. And she tells Kara, basically, I don't like you. I'm never going to like you. So that's what happens there. The next day, Garrett takes Kenna out on the boat. They have a romantic evening out, and he gives her a promise ring. It was a cute little scene. She accepted. All was well. What's crazy is when Garrett told the boys that he was giving Kenna this ring, Sam says, oh, you're getting her a ring? Now I wonder what I got to get Juliet. I was like, oh, wow. Is that how it is in their relationship? Each time one of the friends gets something, does he have to one-up it for Juliet? And it's crazy because in that episode later on, he actually tells Juliet, like, look, I know you want a new car, so when we get back home, I'm gonna buy you a Range Rover. And she's like, okay, wow, great. And I was like, maybe that is how it is. When some of the friends get something, he's got to go get Juliet something. Is that him or her? Who's doing that? Anyways, also in the episode, Will and Camilla, they hang out more. Jordona and Brandon, they're hanging out more. In this episode, Kelsey also does her photo shoot for her swimwear. And she asked the same girls that Juliet has asked. So she's asked Amanda, Madison, and Camilla, and those are the same people that Juliet wanted to model her swimwear for her photo shoot. So they go to the photo shoot. Everyone's kind of drinking, and that's kind of made Kelsey a little upset because she's like, they're not really taking this serious. Like, if this was a paid job, would they be drinking? Probably not. Madison pulls Amanda off to the side and asks her, like, are you still upset with me about inviting Jordana to the island? And Amanda's like, yeah, I'm very upset with you still. So Madison asks, like, what can I do to make the situation better? And Amanda says, stop being friends with the biggest bitch on the island. That's what you can do. Like, if you want to know how I feel, that's what you can do. I don't understand why you invited her. I don't understand why Juliet allowed you to invite her. No one likes her. So they get into this yelling match. Kelsey comes over and she's like, are you guys really doing this today? Like, Kara's not here. She's not involved in this photo shoot at all. You guys need to handle this somewhere else. Like, don't ruin my photo shoot. She turns around and walks off, and the girls go right back to yelling at each other, which Kelsey was like kind of shocked. She's like, well, they're not going to stop. And Kelsey breaks out in tears, and she's upset. She says that the way they're acting makes her regret having them there as a part of her photo shoot. So that's a very quick rundown of that episode. Next episode is called Things Will Never Be the Same, and this one is full of drama, you guys. Camilla pushes Jordana into the pool. Juliet throws drinks on Kelsey and then slaps Kelsey. This one was crazy. So to get into this one, it starts off with BG and Jordana. They're talking about his music video. He shot this music video, Jordana and Juliet. They were in the video. They were on Sam's yacht. The video is finally done, and he's going to have a premiere there on the island. So they're talking about that, and Jordana says, I was really all over you in the video. And she says that she's concerned that Camilla is going to be upset by that. BG says, well, you know, Camilla is running around the island with Will, and her and Will are talking, so she has no room to get upset or say anything about it. Jordana asks BG if anyone says anything to her, if he's going to take up for her. She's like, you better take up for me if anyone comes for me. And BG is like, oh yeah, I got you, girl. I'm going to take up for you. I'm not going to let nobody say anything to you or about you. So next scene is Will and Camilla. They are hanging out by the beach. Will tells Camilla that BG has always rubbed him the wrong way. He's like, he tries to act like he come from this life that he didn't come from. Will says, I come from that life. Like, I grew up not having anything and I made something of myself. BG didn't live that life. He's always, like, had money. His parents had money. So that's not the life that he lived. I feel like he's fake. He showed up at my job basically saying he was going to win you back. I just don't like him. He then told Camilla that there's a legend on the island. And the legend is there's this rare white flower. If you find it and give it to the girl that you like, she will fall in love with you. Camilla thought it was really cute. She laughed about it. He then asked her, how do you say, can I kiss you in Italian? So she tells him how to say it. He repeats her. She says, see, and then they give a little smooch to each other. Next scene is Juliet and Serena. They meet up to talk about the swimwear line. Juliet is nowhere near as prepared as Kelsey is. She only has one swimsuit there, and she was planning on doing a photo shoot, but she only has one swimsuit there. She gives a bunch of excuses as to why she's lacking. She tells Serena that the time zone between her and New York is different, so it's been hard to talk to her people. She tells Serena that the Wi-Fi is like in and out. She tells her that the sun is just so draining, that she's there with her friends, so she wants to have fun. Serena is basically like, listen, all I hear is a bunch of excuses. And as long as you're acting this way, you're not going to get anything done. If you want to build a brand, if you want to build an empire, you can't be this way. Like, you have to focus. Stop having these excuses and get busy. Hopefully Juliet is going to listen to her. Not sure, but we'll see. So next scene is Will. He's walking around picking up these white flowers. He puts them in a cute little vase and drops them off at Camilla's door, right outside her door, and he leaves. Juliet calls production to find out that her swimsuits are still being made. She calls them and she's like, hey, what's the deal? Have you guys shipped my shipment out to me yet? And they're like, no, it's still in production. Like, some of these swimsuits have to be like hand beaded or something. So they're like, no, it's going to take a little bit. It's a lot to do. So it's going to be a couple weeks. And Juliet says, well, I'm going to be here for a couple of more weeks. I really need this sent out to me before we leave. The lady that she was on the phone with was like, look, I got to get to a meeting. I'll talk to you about it later. They get off the phone. Next scene is Madison and Ish. They are taking their engagement photos. Kelsey's boyfriend, Max, he is the one taking the photos, so Kelsey is there as well. They got a lot of beautiful photos. Just from watching, you could tell they're going to turn out really good. Ish has to leave the island. He has to go back to work. So they're taking these photos right before he leaves. He takes a phone call after they're done taking the photos, and Madison sits down to talk to Kelsey. She tells Kelsey that she's very worried about how Ish leaving the island is going to affect her anxiety. She suffers from anxiety and depression, and she tells Kelsey, she's like, I understand, like, I have this life of luxury. It doesn't make sense for me to be depressed. It doesn't make sense for me to have anxiety. I have great parents, great friends, a great boyfriend or fiance, and financially we're okay. So it just doesn't make sense. But I do, like, and it's hard, and I don't know how to handle it. And once he's gone, I'm scared. Kelsey tells her, she's like, look, I don't understand because I've never been there, but what I can tell you is anytime you need to come to me, I'll be here for you. So they hug, and Madison just thanks her for being a great friend. Next scene is the premiere. So they're having like a party that day, and they're actually going to show the video later that evening. Jordona is the first to show up. She hugs BG. They're talking about the video, and then Juliet and Sam walk up. So it's BG, Jordana, Sam, and Juliet. And BG tells Sam, like, thank you so much for letting me use your yacht. He thanks Jordana and Juliet for being in the video. He's like, without you guys, I would not have been able to do this. While he's thanking them and they're telling him congratulations, Jordana is like, oh, Sam, by the way, I can't wait to go back out on your yacht. Like, what? Juliet was like, that's not going to happen. You will never go out on his yacht again. And Jordana says, oh, is that right? And Juliet responds to her saying, yeah, that's right. We had a meeting about it. You weren't invited. And we decided you will never go back out on his yacht. And I'm like, yes, girl, yes. Like, honestly, Sam should have been the one to say, actually, Jordana, you're not going to come back out. You don't respect my relationship. So no, you will never be back on my yacht. But Juliet said it and he backed her, so I was proud of that. Next scene is at the party, the premiere, and it's Juliet, Camilla, and Amanda. They're all at the bar, and Juliet asked them about Kelsey's shoot. She's like, so how did the photo shoot go? And they're telling her about it, and she says that she would like to see pictures. She's like, do you guys have pictures of it? And she's like, I just want to make sure I don't do the same thing, that we don't have the same, like, photos for our swimwear line. So they show her the pictures, and she's like, I don't like any of them. They're ugly. And Amanda's like, Juliet, really? And then she sees the one where Kelsey's sitting in the swing, and Juliet gets really mad because she's like, I was going to use that swing. Like, I scouted this location and I was going to use the swing, and now she's used it, so I can't use it. And that really just ticks me off. But I'm like, girl, Juliet, y'all been there for how long? Your man is the one that booked this. Like, you should have been the first one to take these photos. Like, get on it. You should have been on the ball with this. But yeah, so she's really mad. So next scene is later that night. It's gotten dark time. BG makes a speech and he's like, thank you, everyone. I'm going to play the video now. They play the video, and I like the video and I really like the song. Not going to lie. I watched the song on YouTube like a while back, and the song stayed stuck in my head for days. So I really enjoyed the song. I enjoyed the video. After they show the video, everyone was like, yay, congratulations, BG. We loved it. And Jordana is like, she like jumps up in front of everybody. She's like, oh, I look good. My butt was looking tight. Oh, I look so good. Once again, making it about herself. And Camilla just could not hold back. Camilla says, Brandon, your video was good, minus the HOE. And Jordona clapped back saying, Camilla, you're just a basic bitch. And I was like, oh, no, she ain't. No, she didn't. I love Camilla. Like, I like Camilla. I love Kenna. Like, those two are probably two of my favorites. Juliet chimes in and says, hey, Jordana, Camilla's just stating facts. Like, you can't be mad. So then it's like Jordana back and forth with Juliet and Camilla. It goes to a commercial. And when it comes back from commercial, things have kind of settled down. Camilla is over here with her friends, and Jordana's over here with like Kara and a few other people. Camilla, Juliet, Will, Serena, and a few other people, they're sitting there talking. And Camilla's like, look, I've held my tongue for a while now, and I just couldn't help it. Like, she's up there acting like she's all that, thinking that she's special because she was in this music video. Like, whatever. I've been in plenty of them. She's been in one, but she thinks she's special. And I've held my tongue. I just couldn't help it. And Jordana can see what Camilla is saying. First, Jordana says, she's just mad that I was having my moment, so she tried to ruin it. Like, girl, it was not your moment. It was BG's moment. You were just in the background. It's not you. Stop it. But when she hears Camilla say, like, oh, I've been in plenty of his music videos, she's just been in one, she gets mad and she starts like yelling at Camilla, and she's like, come over here and say it to my face. So Camilla gets up and she walks over there, and they're like going back and forth, calling each other names. Jordana calls Camilla a groupie, which is really weird because Camilla wasn't a groupie. That was her boyfriend. She wasn't following him around and just like sleeping with him on the side. That was her boyfriend. Jordana seems more like a groupie if you ask me. She's like following Sam around, making all these inappropriate comments to Sam. Why? Because Sam got money. She's following Brandon around, like his music video she made about her. That seems like a groupie to me, right? But whatever, it ends up to where Camilla pushes Jordana in the pool. Now, everyone is like, oh my goodness, things about to get crazy. But Jordana just stays in the pool. Like, she didn't jump up to like defend herself or anything. She just stays in the pool and she's like, you better be glad I like the water. And then she says, that's okay because Brandon likes me W-E-T. Wet. And Camilla is just like, whatever, you can have him. But Camilla notices that her shades are missing. So she's like, where's my shades? Where's my shades? Looks over at Jordana, and Jordana has Camilla's shades on her head. Brandon spotted the shades on the ground. He picks them up. He's like, hey, whose shades? And Jordana's like, takes them and puts them on. And Camilla's like, oh, heck no. Buy your own shades, you little thirsty HOE. And she's like, give me my shades. So one of the girls walk over, get the shades, and bring them back to Camilla. Camilla walks off. But when she walks away, she kind of breaks down. And she sits down in the grass, and some of the girls are there with her, and she starts crying, and she's like, I just couldn't help it. Like, I'm so tired of this. Seeing her face and seeing the things she was saying, like, I just couldn't take it. Like, at least I pushed her in the pool, and I didn't punch her. And I'm like, yes, girl, because some people might not have been able to have that much self-control, and they may would have just hit her. Also, while all of this was going on, Will never left Camilla's side. Like, when Jordana and Camilla were like face to face, Will was like right there, making sure like nobody touched Camilla. I thought that was awesome. It goes to commercial. When it comes back from a commercial, Sam and Juliet, they're sitting there talking, and Sam tells Juliet that he feels bad for BG. He's like, this was BG's moment, and you guys made it about Jordana. He's like, that was not okay. Why did y'all do that? And I'm like, hold up, Sam. Juliet and Camilla didn't make it about Jordana. Jordana, just my personal opinion, Jordana made it about herself, and then the girls were just stating the obvious. But Juliet's like, no, that's not what we were doing. Like, she made it about herself, and she sounds stupid, so we were calling her out on it. And then Sam tells Juliet, you need to stop being so insecure because it's weird. And Juliet, she's like, did you just call me weird? He's like, yes, like it's weird because you're insecure. I show you so much attention, but you're jealous of her. And Juliet says, listen, I watched Jordana. I see the way that she flirts with you. She gets sloppy drunk and she just acts foolish. And then Sam tells Juliet, that's like the pot calling the kettle black. He's basically telling Juliet, like, you do the same thing. You're like a sloppy drunk as well, so you can't say anything about Jordana. I was like, Juliet gives him this look. She's like, you're being mean. And I was like, yes, he is. Like, even if maybe he thinks that sometimes, to say that on camera where the world is going to see it, to say that your girlfriend is acting like Jordana, when the world's gonna see it, oh no. I would have been mad forever about that one. So she gives him this look, and I think he realized that he made a mistake, because after she gave him this look, his face changed, and it was kind of like, oh dang, I just made a mistake. Yes, you did, Sam. Yes, you did. So next scene, I think Juliet gets mad, and maybe this is the reason she done the next thing that she done, but she walks over to the bar where Max is at. She gets a drink, and she's like, Max, I've missed hanging out with you. It's been so long since we've hung out. And Max is like, you're right, it has. And she brings up how they used to go on like vacations together. She's like, we've literally traveled the world together. They get drinks, and then Juliet says, let's make a toast. And he goes, okay, to what? And she says, our friendship. And he goes, okay, like, that's cool. So they make a toast. They start talking about the trips again. She's like, you're so adventurous. And she says, that's why I love you, just because you're so adventurous. And he was like playing, I think she was flirting a little bit. And I think maybe it was because Sam made her mad. But Max was like playing into it as well. Like, he's like, what do you want to toast to? She's like, well, our friendship. He's like, okay, all right. And then when she says, that's why I love you, because you're so adventurous, he's like, hey, you surprised me too on that trip. Like, you were like blah, blah, blah with mud on your face and whatever. And Juliet's like, yeah, that's right. I can be bougie, but I can be like real too, you know. So Sam and Kelsey, they're like watching this. Kelsey finally walks over. She's like, so what's going on here? And Mac's like, oh, nothing. Juliet's like, we're just talking. We're just talking about the trips that we used to go on. And Kelsey says, yeah, trips that we used to go on, but we won't be going on any more trips. And I'm like, hold up, wait. Kelsey just said we will not be going on any more trips. But isn't she on that trip with them? Like, so Sam and she can plan a trip, pay for it all, and you can tag along. But say you and Max go on a trip and invite a few friends, Juliet can't come? I don't know, to me it seems like a little hypocritical. Like, while you're on a trip that Juliet and her boyfriend planned and they paid for, well, Sam paid for, you're saying they're not going to be going on any more trips together. Okay, whatever. Anyways, Juliet's just like, wow, really? Like, you're being a little silly right now. Like, you're treating Max like he's like your pet. Telling him he can't talk to me, that's really silly. Kelsey then says something about, oh, you're in love with my boyfriend. You're in love with Max. And Juliet's like blindsided by this comment. She's like, what? Why would you even say that? Like, so crazy. I'm in love with Max. Like, no, darling, I'm not in love with Max. Juliet's so like taken aback by this that she threatens to like throw a drink on Kelsey because it like ticks her off so much. She's like, you're just crazy. I ought to throw this drink on you. And Kelsey's like, go ahead, do it. Cool me off. I'm a little hot. Throw the drink on me. So she's really like provoking her to do it rather than being like, whatever, just let me alone. She's like, do it. I'm a little hot. Cool me off, Juliet. Cool me off. So Juliet throws one drink, goes to walk off, and then turns around and throws the other drink. Kelsey just like wipes it off and then starts yelling, that's why you're trash. That's why you're trashy. Look at the way that you act. So Juliet comes back. And I don't know why people say this line when they want to fight. But Juliet throws her hands up and says, you want to go? Like, go where? Go out to dinner? Go to lunch? What do you mean? Go do what? Why not just say, like, you want to fight? Like, I beat you up. I don't understand why people say, you want to go? But that's what she said. She comes walking back. She's like, you want to go? And Kelsey's like, no, you're trashy. You're just a trashy human being. And Juliet like really goes in. She's like, I'm going to sell more swimwear than you. You're jealous of me. Blah, 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 blah. It gets to the point where they're both going back and forth. And she hits Kelsey. Bam! Hits her. Yeah. And then walks off. Kelsey and Max, they walk off as well. And Max is just like, I'm done with this. Like, I don't care about none of this. This is not okay. So everyone walks off. Everyone was shocked that it happened. But everyone walks off. The next morning, Sam, Mike, Juliet, and Amanda, they are at Sam and Juliet's villa. And they're talking. And Juliet's just like, I cannot believe I done that. But she was literally provoking me. Like, people know that I have a hard time controlling myself when I get that angry. And I have alcohol in me. So I feel like she wanted me to do that. And then I did. Sam says, listen, you cannot act this way. Whatever this is, like, you gotta stop. So Sam's family, they are very well known. They're very rich. They own a business. And it could affect their business. if people find out that like he's dating someone that's acting this way, his family's business could suffer. So he's like, you cannot be this way. You got to stop. We then see Kelsey and Max. Kelsey said that she knew that Juliet would do that. She was like, I knew she would act that way. That's kind of why I was like kind of pushing her buttons. She said, the throwing the drinks on me, like when she said she was going to do it, I figured she probably would. That's why I was kind of pushing her buttons. She was like, but I did not expect her to hit me. That took it to a new level. Like, our friendship is done. There's no going back. She also said Juliet doesn't like it when Jordana flirts with Sam in front of her, but she was clearly flirting with you in front of me, but she expected me not to say nothing. It's clear from what Kelsey says, like she is done with Juliet. Then we see Serena and Juliet. That evening, Juliet meets up with Serena to talk about what happened. Serena asks her, like, why are you letting Kelsey get to you? Why are you letting her push your buttons? Kelsey is distracting you. You have to leave that alone. Who cares if she's selling another swimwear line? Who cares if she used the same location as you? Let that all go, because you are trying to build a brand. You are trying to work with companies. And if you are doing stuff like this, no one is going to work with you. And she asked Juliet, she's like, what are you going to do if you're like at a runway and your models aren't doing the right thing and you get upset? Are you going to hit them too? And Juliet's like, no, of course not. I'm not going to hit them. She's like, well, you have an anger issue and you have to tend to it. Juliet says something to the effect of like, I don't think it's that bad. Like, I just kind of flipped out last night, but I really don't think it's anything that's going to like ruin me. And Serena says, it will absolutely ruin you if you do not get it together. You either get it together or it's over. And that's where it is, you guys. That episode was so wild. Next episode, it shows someone leaving the island, and I think it's Sam and Juliet. I think they leave the island because of what happened. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below as far as Juliet and Kelsey. If you watch the episode, whose side are you on? Honestly, I feel like Kelsey was like pushing Juliet's buttons, but I don't think Juliet should have hit her. Camilla, I'm on Camilla's side all day, every day. Jordana is just a character that I don't think I could deal with either. So Camilla's side, 1000%. I want to see Camilla and Will together. I've been stalking Tate's TikTok because he has Will on there a lot. So I was trying to see. Also, I've been checking them out on IG to see if like there's any pictures of Will and Camilla anywhere, to see if they're still together. I hope they are. I think they're going to make a great couple. So yeah, you guys let me thoughts in the comment section below. This video is for entertaining purposes only. Do not take anything I say as facts. Do your own research to draw your own conclusion. This video is not meant to bully, harass, or defame anyone. Do not send hate to anyone that was mentioned in this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel but like this type of content, please do me a favor and subscribe down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up so it lets YouTube know that this video is well received, and it will push it further into the algorithm. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.